And we are ready for basketball. Pete Nance, P.J. Hall, and we are underway. The Tigers with the basketball first. A Clemson team coming in with an 18-6 overall record, 10-3 in league play. And Corey, they are back to full strength and a full roster.
And Brad Brownell told us this week is the first time they've had an opportunity for everyone to practice since early in the preseason. And happy to have a full complement. Played 11 players last weekend against Miami.
Backcourt of Caleb Love, R.J. Davis. There is Armando Bacot, who called out his teammates following their loss on Tuesday at Wake Forest, and all eyes are on this Carolina team to see how they will respond.
Absolutely, and this is the time North Carolina really has to take off. But if you're North Carolina, you like that possession because you play inside out. Allow Armando Bacot to put his hands on the basketball and make a play for his teammates.
Hall banks it in for three and shrugs his shoulders in the Michael Jordan way.
Issue for the Heels.
Hunter Tyson with the steal out to chase Hunter. Defensively, the Heels get back. Hall decides not to bank that one in, and then glances immediately to somebody in the front row.
Well, P.J. Hall was set on.
In January of 2020, he led this team into this building and won for the first time in 59 attempts in Chapel Hill. And he did tell us before the game today that that effort came up this week. Tar Heels draw within 4.
But that was a concern.
Misses on the turnaround, and here comes R.J. Davis, the junior from White Plains, New York. In they go, Bacot. Draws a crowd, goes to the reverse and lays it in.
Early in this game, you can see the times he's not been Brady Manick, and you can't ask him to be Brady Manick, who was so important for that team a year ago.
And chemistry continues to be a question. First Clemson player other than P.J. Hall to score 10-6. Coaching staff will keep an eye on him. But he's a floor spacer who Clemson desperately needs. Puff Johnson into the game for Carolina, feeds Jalen Washington, the promising freshman.
Yeah, that's it. You see why he's so promising. Hubert Davis a year ago, before Jalen Washington ever stepped foot on campus here at the University of North Carolina, said he was the best shooting big man in the class a season ago. And fortunate for North Carolina that he chose to come to Chapel Hill.
And Hunter Tyson, now a member of the 1,000-point club.
Needs to do. I'm on board. Either you guys roll or don't. So it's not surprising that he takes that type of attitude, and it's always a love. It's always a motivation and encouragement because you got to do what you got to do. So that's
some sort of noise going towards March.
It absolutely is, and when you consider what the legacy he will lead, as we see Jalen Washington with the finish, DeMarco Dunn making a nice play, looking out for his teammate, and of course Armando Bacot cheering on his guys. It's simply about winning. More important than having his jersey in the rafters, more important than being ACC Player of the Year, he preferred to win.
Hemingway banks one home. That's the second Clemson jump shot off window and in today. But with that, you know, he came so close to having his jersey forever hanging in the rafters in 4 different ways last year. Caleb Love confidently turns after draining the 3 and walks back to midcourt. He's got well short. Hemingway makes about 50% of his threes. He won't have many more open than that one. Love for 3. Back to back for number 2 in White.
Shooting month by month. February up to 37%. He's shooting better, and today 2 of 3 already from beyond the arc.
But on the year, only 29%. What do you make of that, Corey, as P.J. Hall is now into double figures with that bucket?
Well, I can tell you that when you watch Caleb Love, that the ACC has so much competition from top to bottom. And so you think about everything that's going on from top to bottom in this league. Virginia right now is one of the 3 teams at the top of what I still consider to be the best league in the country.
P.J. Hall having himself a big afternoon for the Tigers. Let's go back to Angel.
Guys, we were just talking about the depth of this league. Well, how about 7 players in this league that are, him? It's because he was able to do so many things so well. So when you're looking at those 3 players, what player stands out to you about how they can be.
I will go with the guy that just got the second off.
Game to protect him with those two, having Middlebrooks back on the floor with Godfrey and Tyson up front. Under 6 minutes to go in the half. Work the ball around from Davis. Too low!
That wasn't just a good offensive possession. That was a great offensive possession for North Carolina. Once again, getting the basketball in the hands of Baycott, accepting the double team. As Chase Hunter comes back and fires, knocking down a three. No one matching up, picking up the basketball.
Well, that's
actually switches it up. You talk about P.J. Hall on the bench, goes to a zone defensively. And when you play zone against North Carolina, you've got to count for where number 5 is whenever a shot goes up.
R.J. Davis says, don't forget about me. That's his first made bucket of the afternoon.
I mean, again, with Jim Larranaga, the versatility that they have, especially on the offensive end of the floor right now, is great to see at Coral Gables.
Yeah, they are fun to watch. Here goes Galloway, right to the bucket. Nicely done for number 11.
And that's not necessarily Brevin Galloway's game. He's more of a guy who lines it up from beyond the three-point arc and does his damage. So you see him maturing as a basketball player. One of 9 Division I basketball players, 25 years old or older.
R.J. Davis off the bounce. He's got 6. Yeah, for Brevin Galloway, this is third stop. 5 years at the College of Charleston. Then last year with Boston College. This is now his 7th year as a college student. Another wide open 3-ball, this time by Shefflin. His first points of the day. It's back to a 6-point game.
And give Clemson a lot of credit. Even though North Carolina's had the momentum on their side, the Tigers have not run away to hide.
Davis into the paint, finds a wide open Nance. Baycott cleans it up. Just like we have seen time and again over the last 4 years here in Chapel Hill.
And the problem there for P.J. Hall, playing with those 2 fouls, he can only be so physical with Baycott, especially under the glass.
There's the 8.7 boards for Baycott. Those 2 got right back by Chase Hunter. Rebound 8 for Baycott, well on his way to yet another double-double. Love to the corner, Puff Johnson all alone. Give him 3. Everybody getting into the action.
It makes him much more tentative in the second half.
R.J. Davis spent a lot of the offseason watching videotape of the former Georgia Tech star Jose Alvarado trying to become a better defender, and it has manifested this year. He still can distribute the assist to the slam by Baycott.
But Doug, when I tell you that this team is different, when R.J. Davis and Caleb Love are attacking the paint in comparison to settling for jump shots, and also it gears up their effort on the defensive end.
Galloway right to the basket for a second time here in the first half. Love uses the Baycott screen, crosses over, finds Puff Johnson from the corner. With 3 seconds left, can the Tigers get off a good shot? It's Hunter. But tell you what, up 9, North Carolina has looked everything but a bubble team, which they are coming in.
In this building, in the game, Hunter Tyson along in that mix, but it's been all about Baycott here in the first half.
Let's go over to Angel, who moments ago talked to Hubert Davis.
Yes, Corey, you talked about how this team is different when Caleb and Armando are aggressive offensively. Caleb Love and Armando both in double figures. But when I talked to Coach, he said it's...
You know, human nature is when things are going well for you offensively, you're locked in a little more defensively. And oftentimes when things aren't going well offensively, you're thinking about your offensive game as we see Caleb Love attacking the basket once again. And I believe that's a dimension of his game with floor in a game only 5 of your guys can play. And oftentimes that's where the chemistry can get messed up. Some guys feel like they should be playing more than others, etc. But right now the chemistry has looked great.
Well, there have only been, as Davis hits another 3, there have only been 5 games this year, Corey. Corner. Black beats Baycott, who, by the way, has himself yet another double-double, the 16th of his season, and number 65 as a Tar Heel all time. Give him 2 more points. Good control as Hall went down. And remember, P.J. Hall's playing with 3 fouls
this year, and that's the reason why they're still projected in the field. Both these teams right now as an 11th seed. That will change for someone here this afternoon.
And this would only be Carolina's 2nd quad-1 win of the year. It's hard to believe they have played 9 quad-1 games as Hall connects on the turnaround. And Carolina was the #1 team in the country coming into the year, and since the NCAA field expanded to 64 teams back in 1985, not a single preseason #1 has missed the postseason tournament. And again, if the Heels continue to play like they have for the last hour and 20 minutes.
Was he a play caller? Was he a guy that liked to slow his team down and call set plays? And he said, I will if we get scored on. You get scored on, your punishment is you got to run what I want you to run. And right there, they got scored on. They ran what he wanted them to run. And it ends. Now you know that is not true.
It is. Josh Beadle back into the game. He had a short run off the bench in the first half for Clemson. A little deeper bench now for the Tigers. Carolina's shooting this year is worst in the ACC from beyond the arc and 329th in the nation. But when Caleb loves shooting it like he does here today, it's a whole different story. Middlebrook's off the nice feed from Chauncey Wiggins. And now the crowd here in Chapel Hill picks it back up.
Down to 13 right now. And one of the things that you can't do with the big lead is relax, especially against a team that comes.
Baycott, they go inside to him. That's been the story right from the start today. And the big man will have a chance for three.
Coming into that game was hotter than Kevin Keats, North Carolina State Wolfpack. And Virginia put on an absolute defensive clinic in that game. And if Virginia plays defense that way, they will be back in the mix. As Buck Johnson's able to knock down another three ball off the
ball inside to keep the ball out of the hands of Baycott, who gets it. The double team. Skip pass to Love. Penetrates. Hangs off the window. No. There to clean it up. Puff. Johnson.
Angel, Hubert talked to us a bit about his father and him being his biggest hero earlier today. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially since we continue to acknowledge and celebrate Black History Month. He said that is the figure that continues to inspire him. He said he shared
is nothing that as a team they could not overcome. PJ Hall down in the backcourt, North Carolina with numbers, and R.J. Davis going to take advantage of it any chance he gets. You get
ACC shooting only 31% from three has looked anything but like that team here today. Hall rips the rebound away and lays it in. This has been Clemson. Air ball by Davis. Galloway lost his footing. Here come the Tar Heels. Love gives it back and Baycott throws it down. Entire starting unit off the floor as well. Chase Hunter, Brevin Galloway, PJ Hall in double figures. But again, one of the big storylines coming out of this one is that Hunter Tyson was shut down, averaging over 16 points per game. He had a three-pointer early, and that was it on the offensive end. And you're not saying disregard altogether. You're just saying teams grow, teams evolve, teams change.
Right, because at the end of the day, when you count the losses, you also have to count the wins that Clemson has in the non-conference, except Trimble steps up and knocks free. But I am a fan of Pringles.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've had Pringles.
Oh, that's your fault.
I'm not saying it's not, but it's been a long time. Done. Boy, everybody's making threes today for the North Carolina Tar Heels.
I believe being home in the Smith Center was a sight for sore eyes for North Carolina. This was a way for them to get back on track, get a complete reset. Of course, after Armando Baycott's comments after the Wake Forest loss, I'm sure there was a different level of attention paid to every detail that Hubert Davis.
Nickel. That would have set a new season high for threes in a game. At 15, they have matched their season high. Boy, Wiggins does have a nice stroke.
And for the record, you were correct. That was Justin McCoy. So all the great things I said about Seth Trimble, I guess, do I have to take those back, or I can just leave it out there?
Well, I just want to go back to you saying I was correct. I didn't need your validation because I knew I was correct. I wasn't talking. I was watching.
Okay. That's because you weren't listening to me. You should have been involved in the conversation.
That is true. Mr. McCoy with 5 points off the bench. And even though this is, quote, garbage time, you get a shot up.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to get any looks at it, but regardless, you get to pull off the warm-up, you get on the floor, you get some game action. That's what it's all about.
Well, good for Matt Kelly, the sophomore from Charleston, getting his name into the box score. Crowd wants the walk-on to get a shot up. Can't do it, but an impressive performance this afternoon for the Heat.
Absolutely was. North Carolina defensively was special here this afternoon.